rather sleepy cat that knows exactly what it's up to. But as you can see, Nsuku is absolutely passed out. He is on the runway of Chitwa, taking it very easy and is having a good snooze, as is Tingana, who has positioned himself quite elegantly in the bows of a marula at the other side of the airstrip over there. So there's Tingana having a nice little sleep. He looks perfectly happy in the tree, got his legs draped over, and so neither one seems to be worrying about the other one at the moment. I feel like everything is going to be fairly quiet until this evening, and then there should be a lot more going on later in the day. I think for now, Tingana knows being up in the tree is definitely a better option than being down on the ground, and so he's just going to sleep it out and wait to see what goes on. Now, I have no idea where the carcass is in relation to where either one of these animals are. Ali was here this morning, so she will have a better idea of where the carcass was, or if there is even a carcass that's left. And maybe this male lion came up and ate it, and he's just kind of sitting around, lounging and waiting for Tingana to move. I don't know, but we'll investigate just now. We only just got here, and so we have plenty of time to have a little look around, although I think this might be a very busy sighting indeed, given the amount of radio chatter there is about it at the moment. Nsuku, though, very sleepy, which is not what, well, I wouldn't have expected anything less from a male lion at this time of the day. I would have imagined that they would have been very sleepy and kind of taking it quite easy. I didn't think Nsuku would be too busy, especially given that he was roaring late into the morning. I think he's made his statement, and now he's just going to take it nice and easy and really kind of just enjoy the cool sand that is on the airstrip. But how incredible is that to see not only a leopard but a male lion in the same place? Not every day that happens, and certainly a very, very special thing. I don't know what it is about this airstrip. There is something about Tingana and the Birmingham boys and the Chitwa airstrip that they all seem to get themselves into this tangle and this kind of dance-off that happens. All we need is just Tamba and Hosanna to arrive, and that will sort of complete the picture that we had the last time we had the Birminghams and the leopards all together, which is, you know, a few months ago when they were kind of all feeding, or three leopards were feeding off the kill, while I think it was in Mfumu that day. I can't even remember actually. Maybe it wasn't. Was watching from afar. So lots happens on this airstrip, and it's obviously a good place for hunting because of the number of leopards or number of prey animals that hang around here. It's always been a great place for hunting. Had many different leopards on kills in this particular area, so it's not surprising at all that Tingana maybe had this. But I have a theory, which I was talking about just now before Byron started to go on about 10 antelope species that he couldn't even name. But I have a theory that maybe this might have even been Kuchava's kill. Maybe that's why she went and fetched the cub and why she was out and about, and that she was actually seen is because potentially she made this kill and Tingana heard it and maybe stole it. That's very possible, because she was seen not far from here heading in this direction, and all of a sudden then changed direction and went an opposite way. So I wonder if maybe she didn't kill this, went to go fetch the cub, maybe to introduce that cub for the first time to meet. I don't know, but it would be a sensible option to think about. Whether or not it's true, I have no idea. And like I say, Tingana could have caught this on his own accord, but you never know with Tingana. He's always been good at robbing kills from others, as have the Birminghams. Now I'm going to reposition a little bit just so you guys can see more than just the back of a head and some legs dangling from a tree. I'm going to put you in front of Nsuku for a little bit, just so you can kind of see his face and see the beauty that he is. He's one of the more sort of pretty of the Birmingham coalition. I think he is one of the better looking fellas. Him and Nena are the two good looking fellas out of this coalition, in my opinion. So, Lauren, you're wondering about runways. What happens? Do we use the runways? Are the runways used when lions are on them? So, normally what would happen is that a sound of an aeroplane buzzing overhead is enough normally to get a lion to get up and move off it. But if they do not get up and do not move, what they can do is they can shift some of the planes to land at other runways. So we do have elephant planes and Arathusa in this area that can be accessed by all of the lodges. So they can just shift a plane that way if it's something big. But generally what they'll do is just drive the cars here and kind of just try and edge the lions off. It's for their safety, it's for the people that are landing safety, and and that's what they normally try and do. You'll find, though, that it's, this male lion wasn't actually lying on this runway all day today. During the hotter parts of the day, he was under the tree. Apparently, he just got up from under the tree and walked over here and flopped down again. So he hasn't been lying on the runway all day, but generally he would get kind of pushed off the runway by a vehicle just to make sure that he's out of the way and doesn't come running onto the runway as a plane would land. Actually, on this runway, I've had an interesting experience where the Styx Pride pulled down a giraffe mid-runway, just on the top of this, and they had it over the whole of the runway. It was literally lying over the whole thing. And so for the first kind of day or two, we let it slide and we just diverted planes, but it got a bit ridiculous because we had rain, and Arathusa airstrip at that stage was not a paved or tarred airstrip, and so we couldn't land planes there. Elephant Plains was closed, and so all the planes couldn't land, and the only place that they could land was Chitwa, because Chitwa drains very well. And so what we had to do is we actually had to get a tractor, and we had to kind of push the lions off a little bit, and then we had to move their giraffe carcass, which wasn't so much fun, tying a rope to a rotten giraffe while a pride of lions looks at you. And then we had to drag it off onto the open area, and that allowed some of the planes to get in so that all the guests got into this area, because obviously it's a massive expense that some of the guests go through to book their flights into this place, and it's not easy to just change that in a day's notice. You can't just get another flight or another transfer in, and so it had to be done. Unfortunately, it wasn't exactly the ideal thing, but we had to do it. But it was amazing just to see that they didn't actually care, because once we dragged it off, they just sauntered on over and sat back next to the carcass as though nothing had really happened, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to try probably reposition a little bit, see if we can get into a place where we can see Tingana while Nsuku sleeps. And so while we do that, let's send you off to Byron, who I think is looking at a bird that might want to feed off some blood as much as Nsuku does.